Good evening. Tonight's story takes us to the city of Cremenos. Nestled beneath the waves, this city is unlike any other. Imagine waking up in a cozy apartment downtown. You might think you were in New York or Tokyo. Looking out your window, you would see tall, glassy skyscrapers reaching toward the sky, casting shadows on the streets below. If you listened closely, you would hear the gentle chatter of more than 30 million people starting their day. In the top penthouse suite at First Street and First Avenue, you might feel a sense of wonder. From this height, you could see both the Eiffel Tower and the Empire State Building at the same time. Cremenos was built as a mosaic of the world's biggest cities. A short walk could reveal the CN Tower of Toronto, the Dancing House of Prague, and the Gateway Arch of St. Louis. But what truly sets this city apart is what you would see when you look up. You would never see fluffy white clouds drifting by, or dark storm clouds gathering before rain. Since its founding in the year 2300, every day has been dry and mild. Cremenos is the world's first underwater city. 30 countries came together to create this masterpiece. Voted the most beautiful vacation destination for 45 years, the founders chose a Greek name inspired by Atlantis. They named it Cremenos, meaning hidden. The climate is controlled with artificial lights, mimicking the rising and setting sun. Most food is imported from the world above, yet farms at the city's edge produce enough crops to support a population the size of Shanghai. John was among the first generation born in Cremenos. His parents migrated to the city, located on the ocean floor off the coast of Madagascar. As a child, John wondered about the world above. His parents shared stories of their travels to places like Yellowstone National Park and the Grand Canyon. He longed to visit America, but as a teenager, that desire faded. John watched enough movies to know Cremenos was as beautiful as anywhere. He worked as a window cleaner since he was 15. Each morning, he received a list of places to clean. Inside and outside the glass dome covering the city. For almost 50 years, he explored every nook. Driving his pickup around the city, John knew the city better than anyone. He could tell you where to find the best pizza in New York, or the rooftop in Tokyo with the best view, of schools of herring swimming by. He loved his job, meeting locals and learning bits of their languages. Yet, he looked forward to retirement, lying on sandy beaches in Little Lisbon or the Melbourne district. He dreamed of feeling sand between his fingers, listening to seagulls flying overhead. On the day he was to meet his successor, John's alarm rang at 5 o'clock. He took a deep breath, hitting snooze twice, before finally rising with creaking knees. Walking to the window of his small apartment, he pulled open the curtains. The artificial light mimicking sunlight was still off, but neon lights from clubs below cast a gentle glow. He yawned and rubbed his eyes. Living in the Chicago-inspired part of town, giant fans on the dome's roof created a breeze, the only place in the city with a hint of nature. In winter, synthetic snow covered Second Stockholm, while summer brought sprinklers in Second Seoul, replicating gentle rain showers. John poured himself a bowl of oats, with milk from a nearby dairy farm, and sprinkled in dried seaweed collected by fishermen. After a cold shower, he dressed in his work uniform, ragged denim overalls with his name sewn on. By the time he rode the elevator down, the city was waking up, lights illuminating, as streetlights turned off one by one. The city was quiet, except for the hum of a passing taxi. He looked up at the dome, where the faint glow of the real sun shone, making the water appear almost green. After retirement, he planned a submarine cruise to London. His friends advised him to save his money and visit the London district of Cremenos instead. Yet he wanted to see the above-ground world, to ride the London Eye and see the view. When the Eiffel Tower and Empire State Building weren't visible, from his apartment, John walked along the quiet street. Reaching the parking garage where his pickup was parked, he drove through the Cape Town district, into Prague, then onto the freeway to Paris. Turning on the radio, he listened to the morning news. Each district brought a change in language. As he drove past the Eiffel Tower to Little Lisbon, one of his favorite areas, this part of the city felt kind and relaxed, built around an artificial harbor, flowing to the edge of the dome, where a beach awaited, though there was no ocean at the beach. The sand met the dome's edge, where the real ocean began. John cruised slowly through Little Lisbon, with his window down, feeling the morning light. Cobblestone streets were lined with white buildings. Bright red-orange roofs glimmered in the sun. Shop owners swept away sand from their stores, waving at John with wide smiles. He parked in front of his favorite cafe. The owner greeted him warmly, preparing his coffee. They had been friends for years. She had come from Lagos, Nigeria, with her husband, an engineer, helping build the city's new expanse. Rumors swirled about the new district. Would it be a South American city? Maybe São Paulo or Bogota? As John enjoyed his breakfast, he read the local newspaper, speculating on the new development. Children played nearby, laughing and kicking a soccer ball. Their joy reminded him of his own childhood. After breakfast, he walked to the beach, where seagulls flew overhead, searching for stray bits of food. John sat in the sand, collecting his thoughts, before the workday began. At 9 o'clock, he began cleaning the glass, inspecting for potential damage. This was the most important part of his job. In 50 years, he had found only one crack. The glass was thick enough to withstand ocean pressure. As the artificial lights reached their brightness, John finished cleaning the first section of the dome. He was working on a second section when he sensed someone behind him. Turning, he saw a boy with dark chocolate skin and curly hair, no older than 16. "Are you my new assistant?" John asked. The boy nodded, introducing himself as Tayo. He was homeschooled, having moved from Porto. His parents wanted him to work in the mornings so they could teach him in the evenings. Tayo reminded John of himself when he was younger, shy and uncertain. They worked together, cleaning the glass and inspecting for cracks. The beach filled with people by noon, alive with chatter from around the world. Families and couples enjoyed the day. Some tossing frisbees, others watching marine life Tayo watched John with admiration, as if he were a famous artist. During lunch, John asked Tayo about Porto. As they sat on a towel, eating sandwiches, Tayo described Porto as the most beautiful city, saying everyone should see it at least once. "What do you think of it here so far?" John asked. Tayo hesitated, unsure about being underwater. John laughed, tossing a stone at the glass. It bounced off without a scratch. "There are 3 feet of glass between us and the outside world," he reassured. Just then, Tayo's mother approached, carrying a basket filled with food. She introduced herself, offering coffee and sardines. John complimented Tayo's hard work, and they shared stories about their homes. After lunch, they returned to work, cleaning the glass along the beach. John taught Tayo the best techniques: to start high and work lower. They worked until they found an octopus, the size of a school bus, suctioned to the glass. Tayo laughed, joking about removing it. John smiled, explaining they would have to clean it. With a gentle push, the octopus released, leaving a trail of bubbles behind. They needed to wash the outer glass. But how could they do that? John laughed, excited to show Tayo. Swimming outside the city was one of his favorite things. They drove to New York, finding a parking spot near Central Park. Walking through the park, they enjoyed the afternoon, hearing languages all around them. At the submarine house, John showed Tayo how to put on his scuba suit and attach his air tank. Once geared up, they entered the airlock and swam out into the ocean. The world became silent, except for their own breathing. The gentle current pulled them toward a school of fish that scattered as they approached. John and Tayo swam along the edge of the city, reaching a spot covered in algae. John scrubbed it away with his squeegee, handing it to Tayo to clean the glass. Floating in the weightlessness of the ocean, John felt like an astronaut, isolated from the world. They admired the coral reef, a rainbow of colors beneath them. Tiny fish darted between strands of seaweed, while larger fish watched from above. A sea turtle drifted by, staring curiously as it swam gracefully through the water. John looked up, seeing the sunlight filtering down through the waves. A school of fish swam by, casting shadows, before disappearing into the depths. Then, a curious fish appeared, bright yellow and fuchsia, gliding past them. Nearby, dolphins played in the reef. One gently bumped against John's leg. Following the dolphin to the surface, John broke through, gazing around. They were far from land, with only a cargo ship in the distance. Diving back underwater, John found Tayo, swimming along the coral reef. They swam together, exploring the vibrant life and the beauty surrounding them. At the top of the dome, they rested, watching the city below. From this height, they could see Central Park. Contrasting with the buildings around it, the people looked small, the taxis moved slowly, and the sounds were muffled by the water. John loved this view, feeling relaxed, as if watching a strange universe. They swam toward Little Lisbon, where John had first met Tayo. This side of the city felt peaceful, with families enjoying the beach. and couples walking hand in hand. Tayo pointed to houses in the distance that looked like where he lived. They continued to explore, swimming through,